It all started in the quiet town of Hollow Creek, Pennsylvania, a place where nothing ever really happened, that is, until Mrs. Evelyn Daniels, a seasoned high school English teacher with over 25 years of experience, began to notice something strange happening after the final bell rang and the halls emptied. At first it was just little things, lights flickering in classrooms. No one had entered, lockers slamming shut on their own, the faint sound of footsteps echoing long after everyone had gone home. But as the weeks went by, the disturbances grew stranger, more deliberate, and far more terrifying. The school itself seemed aware, watching, waiting, and then came the Shadow Man. It was late October, the kind of time of year when the air turns cold and the days grow shorter, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch unnaturally across the floor. Mrs. Daniels stayed late most nights, grading papers, always in room 214, her cozy classroom tucked away at the end of a dimly lit hallway. One evening, while correcting essays under the soft glow of her desk lamp, she heard a knock. Not loud, not forceful, but slow, deliberate, like someone standing just outside the door, testing whether or not she was still there. She looked up, expecting to see a colleague or maybe a student who had forgotten something, but the hallway beyond her open door was empty. Just the flickering overhead lights and the silence of an abandoned school. She brushed it off as nerves, maybe stress from the upcoming midterms, but the next night it happened again, then the night after that, always at the same time. 8 for 7 p.m. precisely. Never earlier, never later. A knock, a pause, silence. No one there, but soon the knocks were replaced with something worse, a presence standing just outside her door, watching. She could feel it before she saw it. That familiar chill crawling down her spine, like icy fingers tracing each vertebra. Her breath fogged slightly in the sudden drop of temperature. Her skin prickled. She turned slowly, heart hammering, and through the small rectangular window in the classroom door she saw it. A tall, pitch-black figure, taller than any human should be its form, shifting like smoke, yet somehow solid, absorbing the light around it. Instead of reflecting it, there were no features, no face, no eyes, no mouth. Just a void dressed in darkness, standing motionless in the hallway. It did not blink, did not breathe, did not move. It simply watched, and in that moment Mrs. Daniels knew she was looking at something not meant to exist in this world. Something ancient, something hungry. She backed away slowly, every instinct screaming at her to run, to scream, to do anything but stand there frozen in fear, but she could not look away. Her legs refused to move. Her throat tightened, her heartbeat echoed so loudly in her ears she thought it might burst. When she finally managed to tear her gaze away and grab her phone, the hallway was empty again. No sign of the figure, no trace of its presence, only the silence and the memory of being seen. The next morning, shaken and sleepless, she confronted the janitor, a grizzled old man named Mr. Harlan, who had worked at the school since before most students were born. "You saw it to her," he muttered without looking up from his mop bucket. She stared at him, confused, terrified, needing answers. He sighed, wiped his hands on his coveralls, and told her the truth. No one had ever dared to speak aloud. The school had been built decades ago on top of an ancient burial ground, a sacred site once used by a forgotten cult that worshipped entities older than time itself, entities that did not die. They waited, they fed on fear, and they returned when the veil between worlds thinned. Mrs. Daniels tried to ignore it, tried to tell herself it was coincidence, hallucination, anything but what it truly was, but it kept coming back. Every night, closer, bolder. One evening she found the classroom door locked from the inside. When she arrived, she had not locked it. Another time, her laptop turned on by itself, playing static-filled footage of her classroom from years past, showing figures standing behind her chair when no one had been there. The final straw came when she decided to record everything to prove it was not just in her head. So she set up her phone on the desk, pointed at the door, hit record, and waited. At exactly 8:47 p.m., the lights flickered, the room chilled instantly, and then the breathing started, slow, wet, rhythmic, not hers. The camera caught it, to faint infrared footage revealing a towering figure just outside the door, its shape flickering like a glitch in reality. sometimes humanoid sometimes. Something else entirely. The shadow pressed closer to the glass, and for a split second, two glowing red eyes appeared in the darkness, staring directly into the lens. Then the screen cut to black, no sound, no signal, just static. And then from the corner of the room, she heard it whisper her name, not in words, but in thoughts and memories and fear. She left the school that night and never returned. The principal chalked it up to burnout. Her students were confused. Rumors spread. Some said she had a breakdown. Others claimed she uncovered something better left buried. But those who stayed late in the building, those who walked the halls alone after dark, they say they have seen the shadow too, watching, waiting, and it is still there in room 214, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to come back. And so room 214 remains empty, its door locked, its windows covered, but not even sealed walls can keep out what does not belong to this world. Some say if you stay late enough, if the halls fall silent just right, you might hear it again. The slow breathing, the flickering light, the shadow watching, waiting. So tell me, have you ever been alone in a place that did not feel empty? Have you ever felt eyes on you when no one was there? Drop your story in the comments below if you dare. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another tale from the darkness. Because here at Twilight Veils, the night is far from over.